Hello and welcome. This tutorial will be going over how to create a motor plate in Autodesk Fusion 360. So log in either through your desktop or the Onshape browser edition. The Fusion browser edition, and you should be here. So there might be this data panel showing create, but you can basically just save this part to a project that you've created, and you can get going on it. So the first thing you want to do is kind of identify how we're going to be looking at this part. So I'm going to look at the front being here and the top being here. So that's how I'm going to sketch out the part. The other thing I need to pay attention to is the units. So this is in metric. I just need to make sure that I am in metric, and if I'm not, I can change it here. The next thing I'm going to do is create my sketch, and to start, you can either create the front or the top. I'm going to go ahead and create the front of the part and make kind of like a skinny looking Tetris piece. So click on create sketch, click on my front area here, and then I'm going to begin by creating some lines, and I'm going to make that shape. So the nice thing about program is you can hover over something that you want your sketch to be lined up with. So in this case, I want it to be lined up with the origin. I'm just going to bring it up to about there and then come out like that. So the first is about 100, and then that's about 70 or 60, and then that's going to be about another like 180 or so. And again, I'm not doing this like perfectly. That's fine, because I'm going to dimension it out and get it perfect in a minute. And then over here, I want it to be lined up. So I'm going to go over to the point, bring it down, and notice how it snaps, and then bring it up to finish off the part. So now I'm going to give it dimension first from itself. So what I mean by that is I'm going to dimension the sketch from itself, and then I'm going to tie it to like the origin or something else in space, so it'll get fully defined. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to click on this end and this end. Then I'm going to get an overall dimension of 264.2. Then I am going to get another dimension. So this top part will be 100. This bottom part will be 180. And the height will be 70. Thickness will be 15.8. Thickness will be 15.8. And again with thickness. Oh, just kidding, I don't need that. So I believe I have 100 overall, 180, 70. Okay, so now I'm gonna tie it to the origin. So what I mean by that is I'm gonna make dimensions off the origin, because right now it's still all blue, meaning it's not fully defined. So I'm gonna click on the origin, click on this end, and I'm gonna make that 264.2. And what I mean by it's not fully defined right now because you could move it anywhere in space, right? I can move this object anywhere in space now. Now I cannot move it in the horizontal direction. Now I want to make sure that I can't move it in the vertical direction. So I will then dimension the top of the part with the origin, and that's also going to be 70. So now it is locked, right? I can't move this anywhere in space. It's completely black, meaning it's fully defined. So now I am going to extrude this shape. So E is the hotkey for extrude, or you can do the push-pull, which is if you right-click and then click on this, or you can actually draw in that direction, and it'll bring you into that. So there's a lot of different hotkeys and things that you can work with. So now the push-pull, right, you can just click on an object and it'll automatically bring you in to a creation, a 3D feature that it believes that you want to do. And so for this, I want it to be 70 millimeters. And there you have it. So looks good so far. Now I need to add in my two holes, this channel here with an end radius there, and some fillets, some rounds. So there's a fillet here, here. It only cites one, right, being 5 millimeters, but I'm going to make the assumption that this is a round, this is, and this is. Actually, what I forgot is there are two sketch radiuses that I could have included there. So I'm gonna go back into my sketch. So click on this button here, and I can reference my sketch. So I'm gonna double click to get back into. Oh, looks like I made an empty sketch there. Double click onto sketch 2, which is fine. It doesn't, you can have as many sketches, empty sketches or whatever in here. It's not going to mess with your part. So I'm just going to leave this as is, because you'll find yourself doing things like that too as you're learning the program. Okay, so I need a fillet. So that is up there, and then I'm just going to click here and make it 6.4. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here. And then this shouldn't do anything to the extrusion. The extrusion should work perfectly without it. I'm going to click on Finish Sketch, and notice I have those two fillets going on in there now. Alright, so I can click on this fillet button here, or the F key. So F, and notice the fillet, and there are different sort of things you can put in there. So full round fillet, that's a new feature recently. So that you can actually do that on a square, and so like I could come in here and make this a full round fillet, not just like an edge. So that's a pretty neat feature. But for what I need to do, I'm just going to click on these edges here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have my 4 fillets there, and then I'm going to put in 5 for the radius. And okay, so now I have those edges rounded off. Now I can go ahead and make my cuts. So the first cut I'm going to make is going to be up here. So I'm going to open up a new sketch, click on the top part of my face, of my part, and then I'm going to create a line, a construction line that I will place my to line up the two holes. So construction line is here. I'm then just going to place the line in here somewhere. Make sure that it's vertical, and then I'm going to dimension that line, and I'm going to have it be 32 millimeters because I'm going to put the centers of the circle right on those, and then from here to here is 19, and then from here to here is 100 minus 68. 32. So I'm then going to create my two circles, and these are not construction because I'm gonna be using them as holes. I'm gonna put one there, make them equal to each other. So click on that equals, click on both of the circles. Now if I'm just gonna dimension one of these, then the other one will do the same thing, and these are 20.6 millimeter diameter, and then I am going to extrude these, extrude a hole, so E for extrude. Again, I can use the push pull. There's a bunch of options here, whatever you find that you like. And this is going to be a cut, and I'm just going to say through all, and I'm going to take a look when I click on these, and it's going in the wrong direction, so I'm just going to click on flip and OK. So I have my two holes up top there that are lined up perfectly. I need to then make this channel. So from there, again, I'm going to click on top, I'm going to click on sketch, I'm going to click on this part, and I'm going to make another center line. So L for line, construction, bring it in the middle here. So that little triangle means midpoint. That's what I want. I'm going to bring that down like so. And then I'm going to make a circle. C is the hotkey for that. Click there. I don't want that to be a construction line. Circle again. Bring that over here. Dimension this to be 30. And this will be 106. And I'm going to continue making a channel. So the channel, I'm going to just, to make sure that I'm clicking on the quadrant so that there'll be tangent, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the center here, go over to my circle, and notice how it locks it in right there at the quadrant of the circle. Click, bring it over here, and that is at a 90-degree angle. Notice how this part is fully defined, right? Because it's snapping on constraints. That's the tangent constraint. That's the 90-degree constraint. Then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Click. Click. Looks good. Now I'm going to just trim out this portion and this portion. And I am still fully defined, so that means that I don't need to add anything. It is a fully defined sketch at this point, so I am going to extrude it. I'm going to remove it. So this warning sign, constraints or dimension removed, I'm looking at this and there's nothing, it's still fully defined, and it's doing everything that I need it to do, right? It has a 30 millimeter width and 106 millimeter length to the center point. So that's everything I need. Extrude it with the E key or the push pull, whatever you want to do. Click in here. This is going to be a cut or remove, and again, I'm going to go through all. I'm going to take a look, and it's in the wrong direction, so I'm going to just flip that. Click OK. And there you have it. You have your motor plate. So from here, I actually want to add some material to this. I want this to be a certain type of material, and I'm gonna make it aluminum. So to do that, I'm gonna go into bodies, so I can shorten this list. That doesn't need to be out. I'm gonna right click on the body and punch in physical material. From here, there's a bunch of different things you can choose. Metal is the thing we're going to choose, and aluminum's here, so click and drag that out onto your part. Close this out. Now this part has aluminum properties, and you can get those properties like mass by right-clicking on the body again, clicking on properties, and you have the mass. So the mass of this part with these dimensions is about 774 grams. So that should be your mass that you take if you have the if you actually have drawn this correctly. So good luck and stay tuned.